This is the Ramana Maharshi Atma Vidya satsang, a time to listen, reflect, and to deeply inquire into the self. Know yourself and be always free and at peace. Okay, welcome. I'm Richard Clarke, hosting this satsang. I'm a seeker like you, sharing what we love. I've been blessed with years of deep teaching and practice that I bring to this satsang. This week we'll read the fifth verse of Atma Vidya. Here are Ramana's words. In order that the bonds of destiny and all its kindred may at last be loosed, and so that one may also be released from the dread cycle of both birth and death, this path than others is far easier. Therefore, be still and keep a silent hold on tongue and mind and body. That which is the self-effulgent will rise within. This is the supreme experience. Fear will cease. This is the boundless sea of perfect bliss. Ramana starts this verse with, in order that the bonds of destiny and all its kindred may at last be loosed, and so that one may be released from the dread cycle of both birth and death, this path than others is far easier. Therefore, be still and keep a silent hold on tongue and mind and body. People start spiritual practice and meditation looking for a kind of inner peace they can't find in ordinary life. Hindus felt bound by karma, destiny, and tied to a cycle of rebirth, repeating the pains and problems of life again and again. Buddha taught that life is essentially unsatisfactory, since we want happiness that lasts and can't find it in this changing world. People today want to find a place of calm within the storm of the world. A number of spiritual paths offer solutions to this search. They have long been laid out in Hindu culture. The path of action, karma yoga, frees you from selfish behavior by acting for a higher power, not yourself. The path of love, bhakti yoga, frees you from your ego by love and surrender to the higher power. The path of discipline, Raja Yoga or Buddhism, frees you from your attachments and cravings by purifying your thoughts, words, and deeds through developing your mind and acquiring wisdom. The goal is union with the higher power. The path of knowledge, Jnana Yoga, is the experiential knowledge, self-knowledge. This is what is taught by Ramana Maharshi. This is available to everyone since we all know that we exist. It is self-evident. The goal is the self-knowledge that you and the higher power are one, not different. Ramana then lays out the basics of practice. Be still and keep a silent hold on tongue and mind and body. You are either continuing with the habits of your life and identification of yourself as a body and mind with an individual identity. This is the worldly minded person. Or you are looking within at what is always there and is still and quiet even when the world is active. You're either reinforcing your tendencies or you're looking within and investigating, inquiring, and becoming certain of what is always there. Then Ramana says, that which is the self-effulgent will arise within. Inquiring, you trace your awareness back to where it comes from. When you see something, the eyes don't know it. It's formed into an image by the mind. The mind doesn't know. It's not aware of its own consciousness. The mind is known by you, the Absolute itself. What knows this Absolute? Nothing else. It knows itself. You have to clear out space for this by removing from your attention all the mental stuff that we carry with us, like our ideas of who we are, what the world is like, and the role of a higher power. All these ideas obscure the experience of being. Remove the obscuration, and being and consciousness and bliss stand on their own. This is knowledge of consciousness by consciousness. Then Ramana says, this is the supreme experience. Fear will cease. Every other experience you have had was of things, things that are objective to you, known by you. These include objects, people, sensory experiences, thoughts, memories, anticipations, fantasies, and fears. These are all objective experiences. These are all things known by the mind. This is also the world of Maya, illusion. Everything in this world is temporary. It comes and goes. If it begins, it will end. The experience of the self, in contrast, is always constant, not more at one time and less at another. This is being, not knowing like you would know an object. You are that. You know that. Knowing and being are the same thing. In this one being, there is only this being. There is not any other. Since there is no other, there is nothing to fear. Ramana concludes with, this is the boundless sea of perfect bliss. No other. When I walk and I see the trees, I see myself. I see Brahman. It is all perfect and beautiful and divine, and it is all myself. I am that. That am I. No other. Only bliss. And now we'll listen to my teacher, Nome. There he is, with As the Self.
Abidance in Brahman is abidance as Brahman. Knowledge of the self is being the self. What do you consider yourself to be? If you consider yourself to be a body or an embodied individual, you will then suppose that the attributes and activities of the body, its conditions and states, life and death, pertain to you. Are you the body? If you are not a body, what then are you? Bodiless, you are not a thing, nor are you located anywhere. Yet you exist. What is the nature of this existence? What do you consider yourself to be? If you consider yourself to be a mind, a second knowing entity, in addition to or separate from the infinite consciousness, which is Brahman, then you will assume thoughts pertain to you. Are you the mind? If you are not thought, if you are not anything you can conceive of, what are you? You who exist, what is the nature of your existence? If you suppose yourself to be an individual, an ego, has this actually ever been seen? Or is it merely assumed? And if assumed by whom? By the ego itself? How can something that is unreal assume itself? What do you consider yourself to be? There is existence. Unborn, imperishable, non-object, indivisible, conditionless, transcendent. But what do you consider yourself to be? What is the meaning of yourself? Dependent on your identity is what you regard as reality. So then, if you misidentify as a sensing entity or a body, an embodied individual, you will suppose that there's an external world that is real. If not, then not. If you suppose yourself to be a mind, then things that are subtle, things composed of thought, will be regarded as real. If not, then not. If you regarded the I, the individual, as your identity, you will correspondingly assume there is an objective sphere of experience, this that is experienced by the I. If you find your true existence is I-less, that is to say egoless, then there is no such thing as this. What then exists? What then are you? Just existence itself, inconceivable, imperceptible, immutable, and ineffable. This infinite eternal existence of the nature of being, consciousness, bliss, is what in truth all are. And there is no all, no you, distinct therefrom. To realize the undifferentiated, egoless, true existence of the self is the purpose of inquiry and indeed all sadhana. Sri Bhagavan says, who is to realize what when all that there is the one self? Understand the profound significance of this by steady, deep inquiry to know what in truth you are. It is not known through the senses. It is not known in thought. Non-objective knowledge is the substance of the inquiry. What do you consider yourself to be? And what in truth are you? If you wisely discern this, the self knows itself as it is. Brahman knows Brahman. And there is nothing other, no one other, to be ignorant of this. What in truth are you? And what do you consider yourself to be? cease to confound that which is not the self, but the self. And you find the perfect fullness, which is supreme peace. The not self does not actually exist. The self alone is real. The self alone exists. Dive within, and you will understand.
And now we'll take a few minutes to inquire. Just breathe in and breathe out with long, slow breaths. Feel the breath as it comes in and as it goes out. Feel your mind get quiet. Now notice that you exist. You exist, and you know that you exist without feeling it or thinking about it. It's self-evident. You just know. Already this is beyond senses or thought. And now we're going to inquire, investigate within yourself. Who knows the mind? Does the mind know itself? Or is the mind known? You can see thoughts and feelings and moods and ideas in the mind. Who is it that knows the mind? The mind goes up and down. Who sees all this and stays constant all the while? Who am I? What is the nature of my existence? All right. Now let us close with a short chant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. All right. Any questions or comments today?
I like the part where you said you watch the mind goes up and down, which it does, and all
Yes.
over the place. But I see that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's all the difference there.
Right. And what sees it doesn't go up and down.
No. Yeah. And if I even think to touch it and hitch a ride, it's like grabbing onto a hot coal. It's like, do you really want to do that?
Uh-huh. Now, I remember when we were in India, I asked Nome how to deal with the circumstance and all the walking around the mountain that we did. And Nomi told me to look at what doesn't move.
Yeah. That is your refuge from the world.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And, looking at what doesn't move took me a while,
Hmm.
even though
Well,
it's pretty obvious.
yes. Well, and really remaining there without interruption is still
Yes,
a, a, a big practice I have to do.
yes. I really appreciated it here when Ramana said, therefore be still and keep a silent hold on tongue and mind and body.
Yeah.
I think that goes a long way.
Yes. And even when I am using mind and tongue and body, it's observed somehow.
Right. Yes.
And I'm experiencing this strange little thing as though the person who's talking is someone different. It's hard to explain, but I'm getting
Uh-huh.
this odd separation from me.
Yes, right. It's some character. It's not you. It's just this
Yeah.
character we made up.
And she's not unpleasant, kind of goofy. Like, yeah, it's a weird little phenomena that kind of just wells up.
Yes. Yes. Anyway, again, it has been good to be together this
Yeah,
time and share this teaching that we all love.
yeah, means the world to me. Thank you.
Me too.
Namaste.
Namaste.